Alright guys, welcome to Realize the Self, and I'm Mark, your host, and in today's video I want to go over a really incredibly simple practice to help develop some foundational skills for self-realization. And so I was making a video yesterday and just walking with a cup mostly full, focused entirely on the cup, trying not to spill the cup. And we're going to go over that technique right now. So you could consider it a version of like sharpening the blade. Walking with a cup that's almost full turns practice into like a living koan. So let's describe it and go over it and then why it works. It's so fast and incredibly simple, and you could do this very easily. So the technique is walking with an almost full cup of any liquid of your choosing, probably preferably water, not hot coffee or hot tea. You fill a cup with water until it's just below the rim. You know, it's not comfortable, not too low, it's not too high, but it's almost too much. Then you have to walk carefully and full of awareness and mindfully, is that the right word? Kind of yes, kind of no. It's odd because mindfulness is actually the opposite of having a mind. It's actually detaching oneself from that and being completely aware and present, but it doesn't like quite make sense when you say it, even though I have it in the book. But it's still sometimes the English language. A lot of times the English language, the words don't really convey as close to the truth as we wish. Only the silence is the highest form of truth, and that's why some of these words that we speak can be confusing. So the technique is walking with the water. You slowly, naturally, not exaggerated. It's a meditation walk, basically. You don't need a stiff posture. You're just walking as you normally would, but nice and slow, nice and totally focused on the water and not spilling the water. Your only instructions: do not spill the water. That's it. There's no mantra, no breath counting, no visualizations. It's reality that gives you the instant feedback. You definitely want to like calm. It causes you to purposely calm down and to be in the moment. So this demands total awareness, total attentional unification. Walking already requires balance, proprioception, timing, and spatial awareness. The cup adds a fragile focal point. Attention can't fragment without the consequence. You can't be planning the future, replaying the past, or narrating your performance. The water doesn't care about your thoughts. This forces single field awareness. Everything happens at once without fixation. And so that's the entire point, is it focuses you, or not focuses you, it forces you to focus and be aware and in the moment. And it's like a muscle. The more you train it, the easier it is. And so when you do this helps you be able to focus on the self within. So all we have to do is take this focus on the cup and just turn it here, and that's what it's helping to train. And so number 2, the body becomes a meditation object. You feel micro shifts in weight, heel to toe transitions, arm stabilization, subtle torso sway, breath rhythm. The body self-organizes when the mind stops interfering. You begin to trust embodied intelligence instead of mental control. 3, thought slows because it must. It's very crucial. Thought doesn't stop because you suppress it. It stops because it's inefficient, because it interferes with what you're doing. Words are too slow for this task, so the brain downshifts into direct perception. And this helps get you into the flow state too. This focus helps produce gamma brain waves, and it also produces alpha and maybe theta too, the more you do this and get into the more deeper meditative state. But first you're in like this beta, and then you slow it into alpha, and then you have bursts of gamma to increase brain coherence and brainwave dynamics in this moving meditation. So the initial phase is you have high beta, don't spill, hypervigilant, slight tension. It's normal, and it's actually useful at first. Most people are in a beta state, but we want to change that and get into a slower brainwave state. The adjustment phase: as you adjust, you have a relaxed alertness, smoother gait, broader peripheral awareness, and that causes more alpha to be produced, and that supports integration, visual, motor, and sensory systems synchronize. You stop watching the water and start feeling the whole situation. Then there's the absorption phase, theta during motion. This is where it gets interesting. Theta often appears in flow states, skilled athletic performance, advanced walking meditation. There's less sense of effort, reduced self-talk, feeling of being carried. Movement happens through you and not by you. Then we get little gamma bursts, brief moments of crystal clarity, timelessness, no center point of attention. Walking with a cup, water, body, one seamless event. You become the cup, you become the movement, you become the action, you become that, and that's self-realization. How this dismantles a sense of a separate self. Control gives way to responsiveness. If you try to control every muscle you spill, the ego loves control, and it lives, eats, and breathes trying to control everything. If you relax into responsiveness, the body adjusts faster than thought. This reveals the body knows how to walk without a thinker. Remember, you're not the thinker. You're that which observes the thinking. The observer collapses into the experience. This is awesome. This is called, you can call this merging into the experience. There's no spare attention left to stand outside and comment. No watcher watching, just emotion, balance, sensation, awareness. This is a direct taste of non-dual perceptions, a direct taste of self-realization. 3, presence becomes unavoidable. Presence is no longer a concept or goal. It's simply the only way the water stays in the cup. The mind learns experientially. Being here is more efficient than thinking about here. Why is this a powerful preparation for self-realization? Because self-realization isn't achieved by thought. It's revealed when thought relaxes its claim to ownership. The exercise trains attention without narrowing, dissolves the sense of controlling me. This stabilizes awareness during activity, not just stillness. And that's huge. People can be present sitting still. Very few can be present while moving through the world. The practice builds that bridge. And that's another huge concept is, you know, a lot of people will just meditate in a dark room, in a quiet place, all by themselves. But really, if you want great practice, you go out into the world where it's loud, where it's noisy, where you're triggered, where all these, your egos, you know, acts out, where you get irritated, or people are, you know, projecting themselves onto you, and you know, that helps sharpen the sword much more than sitting alone by yourself. And so it's super effective to be in motion as well, rather than just sitting, you know, in a place by yourself, in a room where there's nobody else to help sharpen your sword. You could sharpen it much sharper just by being out in the world, rather than, you know. But you could start in a quiet place and then slowly build from there. I mean, that would be quite effective too. And so where were we? The deeper insight, the practice points to, at a certain point, something subtle clicks. You're not carrying the cup. You're not managing the walk. Walking is happening. Balancing is happening. Awareness is happening. The cup simply reveals whether you're aligned with that fact. No spills alignment. Spill it equals identification with thought, and neither is a failure. Both are information. And that's it. That's the cool cup method. And you know what? It really relates to Zen. It fits like a glove with Zen, because Zen has always used ordinary actions to shatter the illusion of a separate self. And, you know, I didn't know this before doing it. I was like, oh, this helps produce awareness and stillness when I was doing it just randomly. So we could connect it to Zen just for the heck of it. And so Zen doesn't add, Zen removes. That's a key concept. Zen practice isn't about entering a special state. It's about removing what obscures what's already functioning perfectly. So walking with an almost full cup does exactly that. There's no philosophy required, no belief rewarded, only the step, this balance, this moment, and that's pure Zen. Zen master would say, when walking, just walk. And the cup reinforces this instruction quite effectively. You cannot walk and daydream, walk and rehearse, walk and judge your walking, walk and, you know, be somewhere else. The water becomes your Zen teacher. It says, come back now, be here now. And this mirrors a concept called Zen walking meditation, but with a sharper feedback mechanism. And you could even make it even more sharper by putting one cup on top of another cup and balancing that, like, you know, a cup with a top cover and then adding another cup on top of that. I was just walking earlier with that and having to be in a really focused state to balance that and make sure it doesn't spill walking upstairs. And so Zen uses ordinary tasks for awakening. For example, the monasteries in Zen will carry water, chop wood, sweep floors, serve tea. Why? Because enlightenment must function inside form and not apart from it. Walking with a cup almost full is a modern koan hidden inside a normal household task. And so the Zen koans aren't riddles to be solved intellectually. They are situations that exhaust the thinking mind. If the cup does exactly that. If you think, you spill. If you try to figure it out, you spill. Only direct, wordless responsiveness works. This is the same mechanism as koans, like, what is your original face before your parents were born? The cup asks, can you walk without inserting a thinker? And it's really no mind in motion. Zen calls this state mushin, no mind, not as blankness, but as no extra mind. In practice, mushin appears when the body adjusts without commentary, attention is wide, not fixated, action flows without hesitation. There's walking, there's balance, there's awareness, no manager is required. This is Zen in its most practical form. And so every step with the cup demands freshness. You cannot rely on memory. Each step's slightly different. Each microsway is new. And Zen awakening is often described as no gap between subject and object. In this practice, you're not watching the water, you're not controlling the water, you're not trying to be mindful. There's just walking with water. Cup, body, floor, attention, one field. That's Zen realization in motion. And the spill can be considered enlightenment, not failure. Zen teachers often say, great doubt, great awakening. Spilling the water reveals precisely where thought took over, tension crept in, self-consciousness appeared, and the spill teaches. In Zen terms, the spill is kensho, a glimpse of how identification creates suffering. You bow, refill the water, and walk again. No drama, no guilt, no story. And, everyday Zen, carrying this into life, after enough repetition, something shifts. You walk through conversations like you walk with a cup. You respond instead of rehearsed. You feel imbalance immediately and adjust. You become intimate with the present moment, not as an idea, but as a lived fact. And summary, the Zen master might describe it like this: fill the cup, walk. Spill or don't spill. Either way, wake up. And that's it. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.